Hey, welcome to Larry's Library. Now, I'm back with another top 10 because it's Top 10 Tuesday. First Tuesday of every month, I do a new top 10. But before we get into that, if you're coming back and you're already a subscriber to the channel, welcome back. If you're new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button right now before you forget so you don't miss stuff. So, this time what I'm doing is my top 10 favorite omnibuses so far, and that's of all time. But this is a very fluid thing, and it'll change from year to year, so I'll probably do one of these every year. So I'm going to get right into it. For numbers 10 through 8, and I won't try to separate these into which is which. This is just a group thing. So numbers 10 through 8 in the countdown is Punisher by Garth Ennis. So what I'm including here is Punisher by Garth Ennis Omnibus, then the Punisher Max by Garth Ennis Omnibus, Volumes 1 and Volume 2. So it takes up 3 slots in the top 10. And part of the criteria I've got here for this top 10 is what I remember as being just a super enjoyable read in the omnibus format. And since I had only read a few of these in singles, this is almost pure omnibus format as far as the reading experience for me on this one. Punisher by Garth Ennis collects the 2000 series 1 through 12, and then the 2001 series 1 through 7, and then it skips to 13 through 37 because it only covers the Garth Ennis content. Hey, and that's fine by me. It flowed really well. Didn't even notice the issue jumps at all. It also collects Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe, a one-shot, I believe, and material from Marvel Knights Double Shot, number 1. And then moving on, the next one in sequence is Punisher Max by Garth Ennis, Volume 1. And that collects Born, the 1 through 4, the miniseries, really good stuff there, and Punisher the 2004 series 1 through 30, so that entire run. And this whole thing is really enjoyable. A lot of it has art by Steve Dillon, and really does well here. Nice stuff. And then Volume 2 of the same series there collects Punisher the 2004 series, continues on issues 31 through 60. So nice long run there, very enjoyable. And then Punisher Presents Barracuda, 1 through 5, the limited series there about that Barracuda character. He was something else. Then Punisher the Tiger, Punisher the Cell, and Punisher the End. So wraps up all of Garth Ennis' Punisher content, and it's good. I loved it. Just a really fun time. Now, for slots 7 through 4, I got a 4-set omnibus that takes up all those positions. And it's the Uncanny X-Men omnibuses 1 through 4. Now, this is my all-time favorite era of X-Men, probably a lot of people's, I would say. And this is Chris Claremont. This is, the Volume 1 is collecting Giant Size X-Men 1, and then 94 through 131. And Claremont comes in there at some point, takes over for Lynn Wein. X-Men Annual 1970, number 3. Just great stuff, on and on and on. Great artists. So Volume 2 collects X-Men 132 through 141, and then 142 through 153. X-Men Annuals 4 through 5. Avengers Annual 10, Marvel Treasury Edition 26 and 27, Bizarre Adventures 27, and just on and on. I'm not going to name all of them, but it grabs everything from that era in sequence and puts them in the right reading order. And it's just a joy to have all of this great material in omnibus format. It's fantastic. And I had read almost all of this in singles before, years ago. But it is just beautiful to have all this in omnibus. And yeah, great stuff. And then, Volume 3 goes on up to 175 of Uncanny X-Men. So you get into the Paul Smith era, and you had, you had John Byrne before that, and then Dave Cockrum on art, and then Paul Smith, and John Romita Jr., and just great stuff on and on. And all Chris Claremont goodness. Just fantastic. And Uncanny X-Men 4 just continues on from there. And it basically takes you all the way up to Uncanny 193, and some of the miniseries and one-shots and annuals that were tied in with all that, including Marvel Fanfare number 40. Ends that omnibus, number 4. So that brings us to number 3 on my countdown. And this one's a little bit different. This is the Thanos Wars Infinity Origin Omnibus. Now, some people don't like these kind of omnis because they gather a bunch of seemingly disparate items and kind of mash them all together. But there's a theme here. It's showing you Thanos' origin and the origin of kind of the Infinity Saga, kind of how it started and the things that come about from that, that set it up for what would later come on. So you got Iron Man 1968, Iron Man number 55, Captain Marvel 25 through 34, Marvel feature number 12. You got some Avengers in there. You got some Strange Tales, which is the awesome Adam Warlock stuff by Jim Starlin, which by now, if you've watched much of my channel, I love that era. So I have probably quadruple dipped by now on this, because I have the Adam Warlock Gallery Edition, which reprints that, and then a lot of these are in this book, and then I have a few of the singles also, but what are you going to do? I love it. I'm a nut for it, and it collects it all in here in a nice order, and it's really good. I just really enjoy it, and I read this Omni straight through, even though I had read a few of the singles. I had never read all of it together, and having it all right there was just a real fun time. And I should point out, not only does this have a bunch of Avengers and Adam Warlock and on like that, and it also includes the Marvel 2-in-1 Annual 2, Marvel Graphic Novel 1, The Death of Captain Marvel, that's in here. It has the Logan's Run number 6, which has the backup story with Thanos. It's a must-have. If you like Marvel cosmic stuff and you want to know the origins of all that, look for this Omni if you can still find it and get it. It's a winner for sure. And in number 2 on my favorite omnibuses of all time is Daredevil by Frank Miller, the Omnibus Companion. Now, if you see my review of that, and I'll link it down below if you want to check that out, or I'll put it on the end. May do both. But I argued that this should have been called Daredevil by Frank Miller Omnibus Volume 2. For some reason they didn't. I don't know. But yeah, if you want to know more about that, check out my review of that. I'll put it in the doobly-doo. And then my number 1, probably not hard to guess, favorite omnibus of all time, as of right now, is Daredevil by Frank Miller and Klaus Janson Omnibus. Yeah. And this collects Daredevil, 1964 Daredevil, 158 through 161, and then 163 through 191, and material from What If, the first series, 28. So this is the definitive Daredevil, in my opinion. Both of those books, really. I can't really... It's hard for me to choose which one is which, but I think this one has a slight edge, just barely. So that's why it's number 1 right now on the list. And this could change, and likely will. And it's not that I think these works are the best of all the omnibuses I have, because I have a lot. But I have quite a few omnibuses that I have not read yet, at least in omnibus format. And they're in my to-read, I don't want to say pile, because it's not a pile. It's several snaking shelves through this room. But, yeah. So, anyway, that's what I got for now. And I'd love to hear your comments on this, and what are your favorite omnibuses of all time that you've read. Feel free to sound off in the comments below. Let me know what you think about that, and what your favorites are so far. And like I said, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't want to miss upcoming stuff. And I'll see you in the next one.